Thank you.
Yes.
You're live.
Yeah?
There's been a couple comments about me eating sandwiches.
You make those sandwiches look so good.
It's from the Fernie, from the BC one, when we're in the snow, taking our lunch break, and I have a sandwich that's like this big.
We'll just call you Brad Pitt from
You're live.
Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Are we public?
Yep.
And you like
Awesome.
yes all the time.
I can do that.
Sweet.
You be that person.
Hello, everyone. It's what day is it? It's Wednesday. That's I think that says a lot right there when you don't know what day it is. But today we've got a lot of progress that's happened, and on like Monday we were like, oh, we got to do a live video. On Tuesday, oh, we got to do a live video. Now it's Wednesday and it's at the end of the day, and we're like, okay, we have to do a live video because, well, thank goodness we're finally at a place where we can do a live video. So, a lot of stuff to show you. Pretty stoked on our progress, and we're getting closer and closer to the finish line here of departing for Overland Expo on Monday at, I think we have it slotted on the countdown for 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. on Monday morning. So, yeah. While we wait for a few people to show up, I thought I'd introduce somebody. Her name is Heather. Heather.
Yes.
This is everybody. Everyone's been like, who's Heather? This is Heather. Heather, what do you do here?
I do a lot of things. I've now just passed on merch, so I don't have to do that.
Yep.
I'm working on our shipping right now. I'm working on building our new merch inventory. So we have some new t-shirts at Expo, which we're super stoked about, some new hats.
Yep. We just got a kids line.
We have a kids line. We have kids hats and kid t-shirts, which we're super stoked about. We have a women's line. We have some new guys t-shirts and hoodies and zip ups. So that's exciting.
Yep.
What else
do
I
you do? You do like
I email
insurance, logistics, permits.
I email fans.
She keeps track of me.
I try to help Clay.
Try to help me because I'm so ADD brain. And that way, this lady right here doesn't have to do that anymore.
It's true.
Keep track of me because I can be a handful with the ADD-ness. Anyway, let's get into what's happening. So Jeff right now is working on Samson. We're nearing the finish line on Samson. Colin, I saw your text there. You said, just say my name. So I did. You want to say his name too? Hey, Colin. Hey, Colin.
Are you singing the song right now? Say my name.
Say my name.
Say my name. Say my name.
I don't know the rest of the words of that song. Anyway, Jeff, let's pick up right here because you've made a lot of progress.
Yeah. There's
Where are we at?
a bit more to go, but let's see. I did end up switching our primary battery and auxiliary battery location. So primary is now
On this
passenger
side.
side.
Yep. So let's see if I can camera down here. Up the other way.
There you go.
So we have a battery here which is supposed to be the auxiliary battery. Well, there's not a stock battery here. It's over there.
Right,
And
stock
now-
batteries here. And we did that because that space carries a smaller battery, which is a Group 35,
Yeah.
which is still a great battery, but we figured if we're going to have all this auxiliary stuff, may as well put it on the larger battery over here. So yeah, we ran double aught cable just to take care of any power loss over distance, and then ran our cables back for the National Luna dual battery system. We got it all in this big old snake right here.
The Black Mamba.
The Black Mamba, as it were. We got our ham radio wired in, powered up. Right now, I'm working on getting our S-Pod in. We got to pull in our light wires for that still, which is really pretty easy because that's a plug-and-play system.
Yeah.
But that's like the last of our big deal. Got our ARB air compressor here, kind of dry fitted because all of our light wires are going to run under that. We'll have a service loop underneath there. I don't know if you can see our
Let me
spacing
flip
in
this
there.
around and I'll get you. Here we go.
So S-Pod will sit on top of the fuse cover here, and then all of our wiring will come underneath the compressor, have some service loops in there so everything comes out nicely,
Yep.
and then it should be pretty set for wiring at that point.
Yeah, we're really close.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the S-Pod for a second. A lot of, not everybody may know what one of those is. It says it right on it. It's ultimately a smart circuit, and you can look inside, and so all of your connections from your different lights. This is an 8-switch S-Pod system, and am I correct?
Yep.
8 switches.
Yep.
So you can bring in 8 different accessories to one location, and it's through this processor. It'll intelligently manage the power consumption and know if if your battery's getting low. It won't allow certain accessories to run anymore. It's got a lot of smart technology in it.
Yes.
What would you add to that?
Yeah, very, very smart. It's all. So this one is awesome because it's all solid state relays.
Right.
Which their other ones are great too, with just normal relays, but just a little more durability there, and it just makes everything super clean. And then your wiring harness from the S-Pod into your switch panel is just one small harness, so you're not running a bunch of cables through your firewall.
The convenience factor of an S-Pod and the cleanliness of running a system like this is just it's hard to beat, honestly. So here there's 2 ports that come out, and you can run controllers off of it. So this will go inside. We don't have. I'll show you where we have this one running
right here
through. Yeah. Okay. So there's the end that connects into the board, and then it runs through the firewall. And we brought it in. There we go. Just sneak through here. It's on the lift. We brought it in through here. We ran it up the A pillar. It's gonna get tight. Ran it up the A pillar, and then brought it to the switch panel, which is right there. So we haven't labeled anything yet, but it keeps it so clean. So all of those switches, all of those commands for all the different accessories, which is like rigid light bar, top bar, front bumper, rock lights, air compressor, and reverse lights, work light, under the hood light. A lot of stuff goes into there, and it all is managed from this one little cable that comes in. So in the past, if you wanted to have all those switches inside a vehicle, then you would have to run all of those independent wires into the dash for the individual switches, and over time that becomes very chaotic and problematic. So we have loved the S-Pod system stuff. We've been using them for years because of the cleanliness of the build, and especially when we like us, we have the opportunity to build a truck all at once. My first truck took me 7 years to build, and over 7 years you add those things in. That's kind of the norm. A lot of people, including myself, took that kind of time to build out their first truck. But now with Expedition Overland, the way it works, how we're building trucks for seasons, we get to build them all at once, and that provides a lot of an opportunity to do things the right way the first time, and the S-Pod is part of that system because there's not a lot of wires running around everywhere. You can do it so cleanly, and that's important to us because the cleaner something is, the more efficient you are, the less breakdowns you have, the less gremlins you have in your electrical system, blah blah blah. It just starts to really matter over time. So let me show you in the way of keeping things clean and everything, what we have done in the Land Cruiser 200 series. So this is our first time interacting with the new 16 Land Cruiser. It's a little different than the 2008 that Shelley and I personally drive. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the dash. Let me just show you here. So behind all of this stuff is just an amazing wiring harness world of air ducts, wiring harnesses for nav systems, all the electronics that are involved with the 200 series. So there's a lot of stuff behind it. And so in addition, they've made the face of all this stuff so beautiful. And it'd be a shame to start cluttering all this stuff up with a bunch of doodads. So what we landed on was we need our radio up here because we operate this sometimes every minute. And then we needed a microphone. So we put the mic as within a, if I sit in the steering wheel or sit in the driver's seat here, it is an easy arm's reach to grab it and put it back. We really have liked these Night Eyes magnetic balls because you don't have to like find it to latch it. You just, once it gets close enough, it locks in. That's good for driving, just kind of keeping your situational awareness up. You're not having to like look over and where does this thing go? How does it connect or whatever? It's really, you can find it without looking. We're always looking for stuff like that. We kind of nerd out about it. Then the other stuff, we decided to use the glove box as our main electronics bay. So if I open that up, you can see everything that we've done in here. So not all of it's 100%. Our brake controller, we kind of have gone over some of this stuff, but you're actually seeing it installed now. So our ham radio is here, and our brake controller is in here. And then we have the National Luna dual battery monitor here. So that tells us how good condition our two batteries are under the hood. And we can override them and whatnot from there. And so having the ham radio in the glove box makes the speaker terrible. So we got external speakers and we ran it up the A-pillar. And in this truck, pointed up, we installed under here, there is a big speaker that sounds super clean, really nice. And hopefully that'll come across on microphones in the show and all that. And then it's right here in the driver. So it's easy for the driver to hear all the information that's coming over the radio. We're pretty excited about that. I think that's going to be a big improvement to just communications, just having everything so easy to hear and whatnot. And then all of this stuff goes away. There, it's all clean. So when you're looking in from the outside, it's as clean as it possibly can be. It looks like there's only a radio in here, which is nice when you're traveling in other countries and whatnot. Hi Nate, looks like you've found some sandwiches.
This is the good old ham, cheese, and jelly bacon sandwich.
Oh, that's interesting.
I went all out.
Yeah, you did.
I don't want to mess around when it comes to my sandwich. It's like sandwich time, it's sandwich time.
Awesome.
And one's for Jeff, so he's really lucky.
So we shout out to Magpul, our clothing sponsor this year. We are all sporting our brand new Magpul clothing. That's nice. I didn't get one of those.
It's even got the little logo there too.
Man, that's sweet.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
And it's super warm.
So we're stoked to have Magpul on this year as our clothing sponsor.
Yes.
And
You look good.
another thing that Magpul did. Oh, here, let me show. I'll get into it. So, all right, here's the big news coming up right here. We finally, after much anticipation, have received the new XV3. Now, we had an XV3 on the Return to the McKinsey expedition from, this is from Shutt Trailers. They make, Shutt Industries, they make the X-Venture trailer. Their main business is building military trailers for militaries all over the world. So these guys have a heritage of building some super robust stuff. If you've ever been in the military, more than likely you have interacted with a Shutt trailer at some point because they build stuff for Humvees, the J8 military Jeep trailer or diesel Jeep, whatnot. So you have probably interacted with some form of a shut trailer, but this is their consumer product, and it has been, we've worked with them for, man, 6 years now, and you okay, Em? You're seeing it live here. Kids are crying and everything. She's fine. She seems fine. She's just, yeah, go check her out. I think the boys are out riding their bikes and she got left behind or something. So anyway, little parenting happening in the mix here. So we've been working with the XV3 now for just over a year and a half. And if you look at the prototype one that is used in the return to McKinsey, the fender was about right here on this trailer. So they've increased the height on this. We've got the 33s on there with the new gunmetal. This is the blacked out 6-speed wheel. So everything matches with the Land Cruiser, the wheel and hub patterns. We're really excited about this trailer because it weighs nothing. I'll probably embarrass myself here. I'll move this. I'll just show you how light it is. So flip the e-brake. It's just so easy to move. I think it's 800 pounds. I think with the accessories that we put on it, it came in at 1,000 pounds. It weighs nothing. It's just super light and really built around utility. We've accessorized it with, this is the 1600 series rooftop tent, series 3 from Easy On. So it's slightly bigger than the rest of the tents. It's about 6 inches bigger than the rest of the tents that are like the 1400s that are on the trucks. Underneath, and we had it fold off. It folds off this way, same as the Land Cruiser. So both tents are in a row when we're in camp. Underneath, we have equipped it with the Easy On table with the table slide. We talked about this in some of our earlier live vlogs, but you can see it here. The functionality of having a table on a table slide is just, it's so important because a table is one of the first things you need when you get to camp. So that makes it easy to slide it out, set up a table, keep your stuff out of the mud, whatnot. Let's see what else. The trailer itself has a 20-gallon water tank. It's filled through that side nozzle there. They've improved the location of that so it's easy to fill and won't be contaminated by contents that are inside, like gas fumes from the inside of the trailer that we experienced on the McKinsey, which is just kind of a funny joke now. Yeah, that water tank is stored underneath in a tank. Let's see if I can get an angle of it. And then it has a skid plate, so you can't really damage that. It's in the most protected area that you can possibly find, and it keeps the center of gravity low on the trailer when you're storing that water. And the front nose box, we've kept it pretty chill. It's got a charger system in there. We can hook it up. This is the Zamp Solar, so you can hook up a solar panel to it to charge it if you're going to be somewhere for a sustained amount of time. All of your switches for running the different rock lights, the cargo lights, the reverse light, and inside interior bed lights. That's nice to have, especially like this light right here. So in the middle of the night when you're having to unhook a trailer or whatnot, you come in here and you can flip your lights on and it shines right where you're working on the hitch when you're disassembling or taking apart the hitch and whatnot, making camp. So inside, this is a cool product. If you guys have seen these, I know a lot of Overlander types have seen these. These are the new DACA pouches from Magpul. And I don't know what they're made of. It's some, I don't know, it's incredible fabric. But it's like it's a plastic of some kind, but it's a woven fabric. I don't know, when you feel them, you're like, oh my gosh, these things are tough. And then they have a water seal top on it. And I tethered this in here so it wouldn't leave, but I labeled it X3's H2O water bag pretty much. So inside this is where we keep the water hose and the shower hose for the trailer, and it's in a dust-proof bag that can go in here, and it's also in near electronics, so it just kind of keeps those things separated, and it's tethered so it won't leave. We can always keep track of it. Yeah, let's see what else. One of the security concerns that we've had with trailers, our other trailers in the past, is just a soft cover. So this is the next level. It's a soft cover with a hard interior. So when you roll that over, it has a soft, like tuxedo look, but it's hard. So you can't like stick a knife in there and it won't open up. It's not 100% fail-proof or theft-proof, but it just keeps a more honest guy out. And that's kind of all we're looking for. Inside, let's go to the back, check out the back here. They've put jacks on the rear, so when you have the tent and the trailer standing by itself, it's not hooked up to something and you're living in the rooftop tent, you can quickly deploy these jacks and stabilize the rear of the trailer. Before I get into the back, we didn't ask for a spare tire on this one because we're carrying it on Samson right here. Its spare is one of these, either or. And we did that so that we didn't increase the overall length of the trailer any more than we had to. So we saved that much space pretty much from hanging out on the back by not having that. And it also eliminated a 2-pin system. It makes it easier to get in this all the time. It's just grab the handle, it opens up, swings out, and now there's a nice compromise here between two things. You could ask for a tailgate, which is nice. It puts a work surface, tailgate height right there, but it also kind of makes it hard to reach in and grab stuff. When you have a door that opens to the side, you can walk right up to the edge of the bed of the trailer, and reach pretty much everything you need from all sides. So we find that to be really convenient. Inside here, we're storing a big alu box. Not everything that we planned earlier in our live videos came to fruition, just because of a couple things that, you know how it works. You always get gotchas. And the gotcha that, when it came to our planning on how stuff would fit in here, is the lip. This lip. It kind of threw us a little bit. Not much. We just altered it by one case and it worked out fine. But in here we're going to carry more water and some fuel. There's going to be parts of this trip that are going to be really remote. We've got the Atacama Desert. We've got the salt flats of Belize. We've got high mountain stuff. I mean, we've got all kinds of crazy cool locations, and a lot of them are pretty remote, and a lot of them are in areas that have polluted water due to mining and stuff. So we're just anticipating having to carry a lot of water at times, because even the water that we could filter might be heavily mineralized in some areas. So we just bringing a lot of jerrys. We don't have to fill them. We don't have to carry that weight, but if we need them, we have the ability to carry it. So, and when you have a trailer, you have the room. So, but with that, you got to be smart, because if you have the room, you tend to, I got the room, so let's just throw it in there. You got to be real careful not to do that, because you want to keep your truck as light as possible. Have the necessary gear that you need, but keep the truck as light as possible. So, that being said, with the jerry cans, we could either put fuel in them, put water in the appropriate cans or whatever, but don't have to carry it weight-wise if we don't have to. Only in the times when we think we might need it, we can go fill up. So, let's see what else. Yeah, we're going to carry our chairs here in the back. And then right here, is going to be a location for, you guessed it, a trash can. This is where we're going to haul our trash, which is an important thing to consider whenever you're camping. We've been using trasharoos for a long time, but we just really rather not use one if we don't have to. Who knows, we might end up taking one, but anyway, that's what that space is for. That'll be able to easily come out at camp life, at camp at night, be used and put back, and it's easily accessible throughout the day through a quick tailgate opening. So yeah, that's pretty much how that's running. These two AluBox, these are the 42s. These are going to be the two personal cases for the people that are staying in this rooftop tent. So they have their ability to like carry extra shoes. We're basically treating them like a foot locker. So everybody gets a foot locker. We're going to be seeing so many environments, from jungles to high deserts to high mountains, and then getting into the Patagonian winter as we get further south. So we have to have enough personal space dedicated to each individual to be able to carry the different clothing and gear requirements to operate in those environments. So because we are splitting the trip up into 2 phases, we are allowed to kind of keep that, what we have to carry, to a minimum. But I know that first phase, the first 6-7 weeks, is we see it all, from jungles to high mountains. And I mean, at times we're going to be at like 15,000 feet. So heading towards fall and being in the fall in Chile. So it could be chilly down there. That was lame, so lame. Anything to add, guys? That's kind of where we're at right now. We're almost done with the trucks. We're so close. Let's look at the list. This is this week's list. We could check it off.
It's all on Samson, right?
It's all on Samson. So,
Battery box.
okay, let's look at the list here. You guys see it. All right, so Rufio battery box, that's down to like bolts. Install the new batteries. What are we waiting? There's one left there.
What's that?
There's one left on install the new batteries on the phase.
Because of the battery box.
Just because of the battery box. Okay, so as soon as like the battery box is done, both of those will get checked off. The radio's done. Diagnose the fridge. That ended up just being a voltage issue that we got fixed. WeatherTech floor mats came in. So X3, swap the wheels and tires. Got the new icons on there. Installed the new batteries. The radio and antenna's done. The WeatherTechs are in there. Reinstalled the 40-inch bar. Got all that worked out. We've nicknamed the trailer Delilah, so we got Samson and Delilah. We've got the rooftop tent on, the table, the tie-down rails. We're not sure what we're going to do there. We use the ratchet bars instead. So Samson is the kind of where it's all at. The goose gear install, we're just waiting on a bolt for that, but you can't check it off until it's 100%. Yeah, you can just kind of read through that, what we got going on. This is close. We're just running wires. It's basically all part of that S-Pod. So properly respool the winch. That's on the list. I actually diagnosed that. Was it a polarity issue on the winch, or was it we just pushed the wrong button when we wound it up for that video? Yeah. Okay. Boy, you would have thought that we committed the Holocaust or something when we did that. So yeah, okay, it's on there wrong. We'll unspool it and roll it the other way, and life will go on. Cool. Diff breathers, all that stuff will get put on when we get this Samson put up on the rack tomorrow or today, some point. So yeah, I think that's about it. Heather, do we have time for some questions?
Yes.
All right, gonna wander over to Heather here. Hi, Piper.
How's the Icon Piggyback shock for Expedition? Do you guys have to service it at all?
The Icon Piggyback shock system, do we have to service it at all? No. We don't have to service it. We do service the shock at about every 30 to 40,000 miles, which is what they call for their service interval, especially when we're abusing them on this heavy of a truck as much as we do. Let's see. Let's make sure people know what I'm talking about, the piggyback system. Let's show some people what that looks like. If you don't know what well, we don't have a piggyback. We have remote reservoir. Okay, so the piggyback, but I think that's maybe what they mean. Let's see. So there's two types of shocks when it comes to remote reservoirs. There's the piggyback method, which attaches the shock right onto the main shock. We don't use that. We use the remote reservoir. So it uses a remote cable and stores the extra fluid in a different location. The reason they do that is because of clearance. You saw that in our season 1 Alaska Yukon. We had the first prototype Icon shock for the 100 series, and it was piggybacked. It just proved that there was just too tight of an area there, and so we started hitting it, and eventually after some 4,000 miles, 5,000 miles, it eventually failed. So in the next version of that, since that was a prototype, they went to the remote reservoir system and fixed that problem. So we run remote reservoirs on everything. This is where the CDC, compression dampening control, switch is, so you can adjust. Basically there's a valve in there and it restricts the flow of the oil, and it changes how the shock responds under different weights and stuff, so you can tune it to what you need. So does it require maintenance? No. Over time, if you could develop a leak in here or something like that, it might require some maintenance, but we just really haven't run into any issues with that stuff. It's really well built stuff and super bomb proof, so we don't really maintain it. Over time, like any shock, has a service life, so it will need to be addressed, but that's just like anything. Next question.
This is an X1 question. Where did
X1, okay.
The long-range automotive fuel tank.
The long-range automotive fuel tank on X1, which is our Tacoma in season 1 and season 2. Long-range automotive was at the time brought in by a company called Outback Proven. Outback Proven is no longer in the United States, so those tanks are not being brought in as far as I know. But they're still available in Australia, I think. So you would have to actually find them in Australia and be able to get that tank here, which isn't a bad thing right now, because I think the American dollar, well, I haven't checked it in a while, but the American dollar is pretty strong over the Australian dollar, so you can get it at a discounted rate if you're American wanting a long-range tank. So
what is the first mod or the most important mod you should make on a Tacoma to go overlanding?
most important mod to a Tacoma to go overlanding? You? That's a smart aleck answer, but when it comes to equipment on the truck, it basically all starts at suspension and tires, being able to go further, ride better. But man, you can do a whole lot of stuff on a stock truck, especially like a Tacoma, the way they're built off the lot. You can go do a lot of cool, crazy stuff. I don't know. That's a really tough question to answer, but it basically starts at tires, I guess. Over a street tire that comes off, get a good set of tires that are tough, and go start exploring.
Why don't you guys use Rotopac's containers for water and fuel?
No real reason. Just never have used them. You know. Would it be a good solution? Probably. I just never have. So we don't have like a certain reason why we do or don't use those. So.
Was that a fold down table on the inside of the trailer door?
It is. That is a fold down table. Let me show you. So on the XV3, right here, there's the table. So you compromise the tailgate but we got the swing out, and put in a pop-up camp table, which latches on the side there. So we are going to have to make a note for ourselves to make sure that those are latched, because the way it folds, if it's not totally latched, you'll set something on it and it'll fall off. But it's real easy to just make sure that it's latched, and then it's like bar height, which is really cool. So I mean, me standing here, I don't know if I can show it too easy. Let's see, let's try this. Me standing here, this table's right here. So that is a great height for a table. You can do a lot of work on something like that. So yeah, it is a fold up table, or fold down table. Yes. All right, next question.
How hard was the cell phone booster to install?
How hard was the cell phone booster to install? Jeff, how hard? I heard a giggle over here. Are you giggling at this question?
Yeah.
How hard was the cell phone booster to install, Jeff?
Well, it all depends on if you have a air compressor in the way of your firewall. But if you don't have anything in the way of your port in your firewall, it's really easy. It's super quick.
Yeah.
So it's just a few wires, run an antenna to your outside, hook up your inside antenna, and then get your power. And that's about it. It's pretty quick.
Yeah. That's not on this truck. This is another white truck. That's over there.
It's a different Toyota.
It's a different Toyota. I'll run you through that cell phone booster here real quick. We're kind of new to this world, but we have seen that it works pretty well. I think it's a worthwhile addition to have, but it was expensive. We paid for this. I mean, they're pushing like $500 for the LTE booster that supports up to 4 devices, which matters when you're running iPads and phones and you got a couple guys in here trying to do navigation and things like that. You want that bandwidth. So there's the antenna, and a guy on the last live video sent us a link for a better antenna that Wilson Electronics makes for that. We'll probably do that. We'll get there. It's low on the totem pole on priorities, but it's not a bad idea. Let me see, maybe it's the back door here. So that booster, we just have it sitting on the seat here like a radio, and it just amplifies signal, and it's been pretty awesome, especially for a lead truck that's working on comms and getting routes and using different devices that need cellular data. This is a pretty good trick, and I think honestly, if it's, I think it'll help us on the South America expedition for sure. But really, that's a U.S. thing. Like, what a great tool to have in the truck. You know, even for safety reasons, being able to get to that signal sooner than having to drive around and be able to call 911, etc. If you don't have, sat phones or inReaches or something like that. That's something you get to use all the time because you're using it in your daily life and on your mobile device. So I think those things have a definite place in the overland community, especially here in the U.S. So anyway, enough on that. Next question.
You have bumps on X3 and Samson. Why not Rufio? Assuming that's front bumpers.
Right, assuming front bumpers. They're in the process of being made. Not for this expedition, but CBI is in the process of making one. So I would say within the next year, be looking for a CBI front bumper to come out for the 5th Gen 4Runner. I don't know that per se, but from talking to them, I think that was on the list that hopefully within the next year or so they would have that. So we're totally comfortable running this truck with the stock bumper on it. It's got the hidden winch in there. We did it in Central America, works great. And yeah, no problems. We're just going to be running on the stock bumper there. So, next question.
You had a hot shower thing installed into your engine compartment in the last expedition.
Yeah.
Are you using something similar again? And how did that system work out for you guys?
The system works good. The hot shower system that's in X1, the original Tacoma. Problem is, you just never used it. just never used it.
Use it once.
We used it once or
long.
twice, and I think going forward, my 2 cents on that is have a water heater system that is independent of the truck. It's nice, it's convenient to say, yeah, it's mounted to the engine and it just works. When I get to camp, it works. But you've modified the engine, and I have had to maintain it a couple times. I've had to put a new pump in it, and I did have a leak in it a couple times. Granted, I'm in Montana, so I just run into that stuff due to all the weather changes and the extreme temperatures, the cold and the heat and whatever. So that being said, if you want to run a hot water system, we don't. I would look at independently operated ones that you can put in, use it for a while, put out, and take out. We did the same thing with the heater for the rooftop, or for the habitat system on X3. And do I have it here? Let's see. Yes, it's out here. So X3 has the habitat system on it. Okay, so this folds off and you can live in the back, right? You've seen pictures of that. So what we did, we had AT put one of their heater systems in one of these alu boxes. So when it's wintertime, we can put it in, and it sits on top. Actually, it just sits right on top of that other alu box, and then we pipe it into the habitat, and it works great. It takes the edge off. It's pretty sweet, but it's not a permanent modification, and it doesn't live with the truck because we don't need it all the time. So I think this is the best bang for the buck if you can get systems that come in and out, because you just don't always need them to be living in the truck. Same with hot water systems. We have contemplated putting a hot water system in the XV3 trailer, just because we'll be in colder temps, and if we do want to take a shower, wouldn't be a bad idea to have a hot shower, but we're trying to go light, so I don't think we'll do that. So, yes.
Does each truck carry its own tools for maintenance, or is it shared between the vehicles?
It's a combination of both, what we carry for the vehicles when it comes to tools. Every truck gets a basic toolkit, and that basic toolkit will be able to service like tires, air up trucks, air up tires, whatnot. And then we have one toolkit that carries more of the extensive stuff in the event that we need it. Stuff that would be way redundant, like a drill or an impact wrench, too redundant to have everything like that in every truck. So we don't do that. So hopefully that's clear enough. And the other thing is recovery gear. That would be the next question. So you got tools to fix stuff. Every truck carries the necessary tools, with one truck carrying a more modified toolbox. When it comes to recovery gear, every truck carries enough equipment to extract that vehicle, because at any given time these trucks can be off by themselves, so they do need to be self-contained and reliable on their own. Let me show you what we did for recovery gear. So these are the worn recovery bags, and these are a couple extras that go in our other two trucks, but we pulled everything out, we laid it out, so what we need. And in each truck we carry a pair of gloves, a recovery strap, a tree saver strap, enough shackles to run at least one snatch block, and one truck carries enough to run 2 snatch blocks. So we do carry one extra. That's how we divvy that stuff up. And then we throw it in a bag, and that's in every truck. So it's redundant. So when you go to any truck, you know what you have available and what you can use, and then you can combine kits if you're in a real bad stuck situation. So yeah, they live in different places, but they're all in each truck. All right, next question.
What was the thing you forgot on a previous trip that you most regretted?
We were just racking our brains on that very thing, and the problem is we forgot what we said we should have the next time. Chainsaw is one of them.
Sharpener.
Chainsaw sharpener. Yeah. But hey, it worked out.
Yeah, it did work out.
You know?
Yeah.
I think I might spool another rant. I don't know. So let's rant for a minute. Should we rant, Jeff?
All right.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Preparing for every contingency. Dun dun dun.
Man, that sounds like it's boring, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what? Where's the adventure in that?
Where is the adventure in preparing for every contingency?
I mean, I could spend my whole life preparing for every contingency, and then I'd die and never have
You
a
ne-
contingency.
You never
happen.
left because while you sat on the couch for so long
Yeah.
contemplating every contingency, you
Yeah.
couldn't get through them all, so you actually never left.
And I'd be broke because I'd be on Amazon just buying everything I
Yeah,
think
you-
I need
you
for
would.
whatever situation.
Yeah. So
That's how that works out.
over the years, we have gotten less and less and less concerned about the contingency stuff.
Yes.
And it's just part of the adventure. Having the necessary tools to be wise, so like the basic tools to fix normal things, good. You should have that stuff. But getting into, even for me, the bug out bag stuff that we do is getting on the outer edge of like, is this necessary? I think it is, because we have responsibilities, and you should have that stuff. But you can even tell in my voice that we're like, maybe, but we made the decision to carry things like that, but we haven't like overthought everything. We don't carry like special
Yeah.
extra CV axles and stuff. We'll just problem solve when it comes to that point. And hopefully we treat our vehicles with a lot of sympathy so that they survive these trips and we don't have a lot of issues. And if something else goes down, it means it's a big thing.
Yeah,
Big
and
deal.
there's been a few comments I've seen popping up. One of the big things is you develop your skill sets before you go buy stuff for a situation. So,
Yeah.
and we've matured over the years and continue to mature in those skill sets of mechanic stuff or safety or awareness or whatever, medical stuff, all of that. That's really where you want to do your preparation. And then you can improvise in your situations and be confident in your skills as opposed to bringing the kitchen sink with you,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the best way to go about it.
Yeah, and I think the next level to that is what we carry today may not be what we carry tomorrow. As our skill sets learn, we were just talking to this guy Chris Forrest. You'll meet him from Tactic. He was talking about this when it comes to like weapons training and stuff. Things that we do today as best practice may not be best practice tomorrow, but that's okay. We're wanting to adapt. We're wanting to learn new things, and that goes to what we should carry. We have carried things in the past that we no longer carry because we just don't think it's necessary. Are there some stuff that we should carry that we're not right now? Probably. But we're not going to overly stress or worry about that. We're going to learn it as it comes and adapt. So,
That's pretty much it.
yeah.
That's good.
Rant over.
Good rant. All right.
Okay. See ya. Maybe I'll be back. Next.
Actually, I do have a question for Jeff.
Oh, yes, for Jeff.
Jeff, do you service the shocks, or do you send them into Icon?
Do I service the shocks or send them into Icon? We send them in. Part of that is they do it really well. They're set up to do it, and they have great customer service. So it's a week turnaround. They service their shocks on a Tuesday. If you get them to them Monday night, they'll have them back to you in a week. It's a great service, and it's a professional job.
Yeah. Jeff and I toured the Icon factory where they do all the assembly and stuff, and I can tell you right now, I wouldn't want to service that shock because it is involved, and there's like kind of half art, half science that goes into suspension, and I just rather send it to them because it's kind of involved. We have footage. Maybe at some point you'll see it. Actually, in the build video of
we got it in
X3.
the build video. It's messy, really, is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to just send them off and get them back a week later.
Totally.
Yep.
So, I saw one question on the lights that we were using.
Show the lights.
Show the lights. People wanted to see the lights. So we're running a very various lights on the truck. So this is the SR2 combo from Rigid. And the center portion is spot. The outer edges are a combination flood. on the very front, check this out. We finally got it in. This is the Midnight Edition rigid bar in the front there, and it hides in that CBI bumper so nicely. It just looks so clean. That is just a spot. So it's very focused, long range, high speed type of light. We're really excited about how that turned out. We actually run a similar light in Rufio. Not many people know it, but there's a hidden light back there too, and that's worked really well. The only thing that I would say is make sure that when you install lights like this in the back, have a way to clean it, because we couldn't get in there and clean that for a while.
Nope.
Yeah, it was really hard. So just think through that. Once it gets dirty, figure out how to clean it. We run the same lights on X3, Rufio, and Samson up top. And then in the rear, in the bumpers, we are running the quad light and diffused. So we want that to be as broad as we possibly can for camp life and backing up at night so we can see a lot. We don't use the spots, we just use the diffused. And right now, let's see, yep, one got installed. Let's see what's poke. We got the rock light kit, the 6 light rock light kit from Rigid also going in. So that rock lights go here, there, and up in the front fender. And we don't really necessarily use those for rock crawling. We use them for camp life and for shooting on the ground as we're walking around the truck. It's also a great way to have a lower profile at camp at night if you want to be somewhere and not shining lights everywhere. Rock lights give you a lot of just area work light that you're not blinding your neighbor in a campground or so easily seen so far off. You can kind of keep a lower profile. So rock lights serve a lot of different functions beyond just being for rock crawling at night where you're trying to see obstacles and whatnot. So the trailer also has those. In the rear, we're using a Rigid, this is their new chase light. And this is hooked up to the brake system. So when you hit the brake, this outer ring glows red. And then it's also hooked up to the reverse light. So, and underneath, it has a license plate light and work area light too. So that's a pretty cool little fancy light right there. That's the Rigid chase light. You can get them in different colors, but we got red because we wanted to use it as another brake light. So we're using a scene light for under the hood. Toyotas, for whatever reason, I don't know, should talk to them at some point, don't put hood lights under the hood. So we always put lights in, and this time we have used one of their area lights, and it is pretty fancy. That's probably the nicest hood light you've ever seen. One of the benefits of being sponsored, I suppose. But that light casts a beautiful cast of light over the entire engine bay, and it's not harsh. It's really easy to work under. So that's pretty much the quick rundown on the lights, I suppose. Next question.
How do you plan differently for expeditions with a convoy versus a solo vehicle travel?
Planning differently for solo travel or convoy travel. In a convoy, let's just keep thinking through this. In a convoy, each vehicle should be ultimately lighter because you can spread the load out and you can use redundant gear. A single vehicle will tend to be heavier because you can't do that, because you have to build a truck to be self-sustainable in every way. You got to be careful when you're running individual trucks to not overload them. Be very aware of how much you're putting in them, because you are your only truck. Lighter is better. You'll experience less breakdowns, etc. But yet you got to have the gear, so you just move slower and whatnot when you're by yourself because you don't have the redundancy and safety. Then I don't know, wandered off there. Should I answer that any better? Gear wise, I mean, you got to have enough gear for the individuals to be self-sustained in that truck and to be safe. we spread that stuff out over 3 trucks on convoy. There's a different mentality that goes between convoy and single truck. I did a lot of solo trips. Still love doing solo trips, and it's a different mentality. It's individual mindset versus teamwork. And if you guys are doing a lot of trail work, I think it's an awesome opportunity for you guys to realize how you can work as a team with between vehicles, like on trail stuff. Versus everybody being completely 100% self-sustainable in their vehicles, which just makes just tanks out of all these trucks. Next question. Good?
Yeah. The one more we have is for future episode is to go into the heater in the alley box. We
Okay.
like that setup. So maybe
Yeah. And we are debating if we're going to take that or not, but more than likely we're not. I think I've made that choice. Yeah, we can get into the heater eventually too. So, hey guys, it is Wednesday night. We're gonna be doing another live video as we spread out the gear that goes into the different trucks. That's our next phase. So the trucks have been finished for the most part. By the time you see us again, they'll be finished, and we're gonna have the gear for each individual truck spread out on the shop floor. And we'll go through that stuff at that time before they start moving into the vehicles. I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That really helps us out. And we'll see you next time. Catch you later. Bye.